A young man died, was murdered, did not die. He was murdered in cold blood by road pirates, aka cops, in the state for standing his ground and asserting his rights in the United States. And so I've been looking even more and further in the sovereign movement, and as much as I can follow it, and I can see its grounds for as long as you want to invest in this system, then obviously it's worth knowing that you are enslaved in a corporation. Countries do not exist. Presidents are just puppets of the banks, and lawyers are daylight robbers and criminals and parasites. And the judiciary system is their tool of tricking you into signing yourself up for further enslavement. So the option that a lot of people are taking is to go and learn their system so they can beat them at their own game. There is a lot to learn because there are many tricks in the book, which confirms to me that absolutely no being of this planet is wise enough and smart enough to have put this together with such foresight over 400 years and with patience over so many decades and years to see it to fulfillment. So therefore it's clear that this is inhuman. It's clear that there is such thing as possession, and many are the tools of the devil, and they received the download in some form that I don't understand. I clearly did not receive this download, but a lot of people have. And so anyway, I was looking again because the sovereignty movement, it's gaining strength, and there are more and more people teaching the way to sovereignty. However, even if you become a national of your land instead of a sovereign, instead of a citizen, there is still an ongoing battle. First of all, because every single one, every employed dog that is used by the system to fulfill its policies, first of all, they're very compartmentalized. They only know very little, and for you to, in your daily dealings, if you are to educate, you will have to educate. They're mostly paper pushers. They have no idea why they're doing the papers that they're doing and why you need to bring the papers that they ask you to bring and so forth. So to fight the system, you will have to learn it. You will have to not be belligerent in front, because ignorance is no excuse in the eyes of the law. So the fact that you present yourself ignorant and say in court or in any other circumstance you didn't know, that's not their problem. Ignorance is really no excuse. And so I sat and I thought, okay, I could learn it. But again, I'm the kind of person that it's absolutely sure that my way ahead is to follow my joy. It would, just listening to 3 hours of lectures in their legalese bores me to tears. My God, my cats are absolutely out of control. It's absolutely boring and there is no joy in it. So I personally still say I will live my life in such a way to avoid them altogether, rather than educate myself in their filthy piracy legalese, in their maritime law system, and create and attract the situations to have to fight them. The moment you are even absolutely every single fine that you get in your car as you're driving, or every bit of taxation on your property, everything is basically extortion and piracy, and it's illegal. It's unlawful. They made it legal through their legalese, but it's unlawful. And there are only two options again. And one gives me absolutely no joy whatsoever. Because when I found out about the whole sellout through the birth certificate, my situation is a little bit different, because without knowing, again, just following my instinct, I have legally changed my name already, and I'm a dual citizen, and I don't live in either of the countries I'm a citizen of. So, as I said, I give no loyalty to the system, and I invest nothing in the system whatsoever. But if I was to, I would feel like I would have to become one of them, and I simply would not lower myself to their level. So if anything ever happens, so far I had nothing to do with any of them. I literally just floated like a duck through water, and I didn't mix and mingle with their system, and I never had any particular legal problem to deal with anyone. I didn't need lawyers. Every problem I had, I managed to solve it without lawyers. I found my own way, and I found them utterly incompetent and thieves, and so I chose to do all my paperwork without their help or without their intervention when I needed to. But because it means to ignore my joy just so I succeed in their system, that is beneath me. So to the whole sovereign movement, I say no. I am sovereign without asking them permission or learning how to counter trick them into getting the paperwork that I would need. I just follow I just follow my path, follow my joy, and I slalom. I managed to avoid, and I'm non-confrontational. I use the system for what it's worth, for what it serves me, and I skid around other situations as to not deal with them. Because, and I avoid confrontation, and I respect their laws to the best of my abilities, just because I literally I won't invest anything in their system, not my energy, nothing. So as much as I am for establishing yourself as a sovereign, I think sovereignty, it's not about, okay, you realize you're enslaved since your birth certificate, you realize the situation you're in. Now you can start headbutting against it and creating yourself unnecessary trauma and drama from which then you will have to pull yourself out of, and they're more than happy to punish you for the audacity, because this is the thing. The moment you wake up, you realize this is where you are. As I always say, you have this plate in front of you with whatever it is on top of your plate. So the only two choices for you at any point in time is to fight with what's on your plate, to argue, to scream, to shout, to be upset about it, or to say, okay, I am in a friendly universe, so whatever it is on my plate, it's exactly what needs to be right now. So there is no point for me pleading and begging for it to change. That to which I would plead and beg had decided to put this on my plate. So the acceptance is not weakness, and it's not being a pushover, quite contrary. It's understanding that you overcoming the challenge of what's on your plate would take you to where you need to go. You fighting it or outsmarting it or tricking it, or you basically with your fight and opposition and resistance of it, what you resist persists, is just as simple as that. What you resist persists. So with your resistance, opposition, or learning of the system, you make it real. You make it real. If you just in your head go to the place of mind where, regardless what is, I establish myself as sovereign, responsible, but at the same time understand that something that breeds you had put a set of circumstances before you for a friendly purpose, then you work with it rather than against it, and you don't solidify the system itself as real. Just like I said in a couple of videos ago, protests, campaigns against, fear, all this opposition against something makes it real. You've accepted the offer that is true. So that's what I feel with the sovereignty movement. I accepted the offer that I'm slave. So what they planned for me to make me slave, to enslave me, I've accepted it. I've made it absolutely real, and now I'm taking steps to counteract it. By you taking all these steps and learning Black's law and all of that, all you do is literally legalizing them in your own life. So I'm vehement against resistance. I'm literally vehement against resistance, because what you resist persists. So my thing, it's internal. I highly recommend the internal way of establishing for yourself. Yeah, that's the offer from outside. However, by the law given to myself by myself, I declare myself sovereign without needing to do anything about it, because anything I would do to prove that I am sovereign means that I know I'm not. When you need to prove something, you know you don't have it. When you don't fight against it, then you do have it. Matt from Quantum of Conscience keeps saying keeps giving the example of the Shawshank Redemption. I think that's the movie. I can't remember. I think so. Where the guy literally gets out when he stops fighting with them and says, "I don't give a fuck if you parole me or not." And that's when he's paroled, when he stops trying to prove himself, trying to please them, trying to engage them, trying to validate them at all. He made peace with his situation, and it was for him absolutely, gosh, it only comes to me in German, Scheißegal. For him it's absolutely indifferent if he stays. He ate the frog on his plate. He accepted the frog on his plate. He stopped fighting the frog on his plate. And thus, he was free in his head. He didn't need them. He didn't need outside circumstances and convincing and pleading and begging for outside circumstances to match his internal circumstances. So when you see your circumstances not as man-made, because believe me, I'm more and more convinced, considering how unconscious humanity as a whole is, I am more and more convinced that everyone is running a programmed script. So exactly like Jesus said, forgive them, Father, because they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. And another thing to that, the one thing you have to eliminate is the fear of death. Leaving this body or being at the point of, it doesn't even mean you're gonna live, there are circumstances now, if you go on in YouTube and you check glitch in the matrix, you're gonna see that there is such a thing as quantum death. So not even death you shouldn't be afraid even of death, because even death is not something final as you were trained to think about it. You can literally skip straight away onto another reality. With the same people, the same circumstances, only a very slight change. So fear of death should not be anybody's motivator. Just like money shouldn't be anybody's driver. So this is very, very important. Do I support the sovereignty movement? Declare yourself sovereign. Tom Burnett, the Aussie guy, he is the closest. He didn't get any papers done. He just behaves himself and comports himself in the private, as a private man alive on land, by the law of the land, not the maritime law. And just by being himself and following he flows. And he's another Leo. My God, he made me laugh. My God, he made me laugh. He said, I don't know anything about astrology. I just know that I'm a Leo and that's the best star sign. And so there. Man, that made me laugh, because that is exactly me. And I'm a Leo and that's the best star sign. So there. That is so fucking funny. I laughed and laughed and laughed. But he's the closest to what I feel and I want to say. Do not engage in something. What you feed grows. That's the point. What you feed grows. So you sitting and learning and wasting your life on this, and even what's his name? Jason from Archaics, he said just recently, when you uncover all the truth and you waste all your life digging and you realize it is what it is, just enjoy the best you can. Just enjoy the ride. Don't think it's yours to fix it. You didn't make it. You're not the strongest. You don't know what's good for another person. So just fucking make peace with the fact that here you are. You're here for a good time, not a long time. So get drunk and be merry. And honest to God, that is the ultimate truth, because when you come to the point of death, you realize how insignificant this game was. As I said, death is knocking at a person's door, and they're worried about their fucking knives or their curtains. If that's not proof of the irrelevance of just be here, follow your gut, enjoy it the best you can. Literally stop thinking of what you need to do to work and for your job. Start thinking of what you need to do in your time off. Where you're gonna go, what you're gonna do. Spend more time planning your fun time than your bullshit time. And why? Because all these people look at the level of energy. Even if you go in a courtroom, or even if you go in the police station, even if you go to where these drones are, the level this thing with the where you register your car, just in any institution where drones push papers, yeah, look at the level of energy there. Or going to a law school. So in order for you to stay sovereign, you just have to vibrate at a rate above the rat. These are all paper pushing rats feeding a rat system. So you have no business lowering your energy to the level of the rat, wasting your livelihood and life breath and life force onto getting to notarize that, fixing that, fighting that. I'm gonna show them. Gosh, and you know, like Tom Burnett says, people contact him to ask him what to do about a fine of $20. Dude, do you realize that just to prove a point and to establish the system thicker and stronger on their position, you sell your life for $20 or $200? You sell your energy force for that. So you have to choose your battles very carefully. But again, I say, the way out is joy. Find your joy. That's why I put this thing here. I spent some time around a lot of people, and my energy and I was having fun. I went for drinks and coffee and orange juice and eating. I was in Marktplatz, in Piazza thing, city center type thing. But the energy was so low, and I'm so empathic that I picked it up and I just sat and I had a jolly good time and everything. But I came home and it's as if I fucking worked at 8 hours. I was like, no, I'm gonna pick myself up. I'm gonna channel the inner goddess, the inner princess, the inner queen bee. Oh shit, I shouldn't say that. I fucking hate her. Hate is a strong word, but you know what I mean. And so I decided this was around my neck, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just do this. Why? Because I can, and it's funny, and it's fun, and it makes me feel pretty, and it makes me feel yeah, weird, like funny, haha. And so yeah, I'm happy with that. But it's really, really important, the message that I'm giving now. To follow what you love really means to follow what you love, and that doesn't mean be a stalker. I didn't say follow who you love. Just love them from the fucking distance if they don't reciprocate. You suffocating someone with your feelings, that's not love. That's possession, and that's sick. Stop being, people should stop stalking people. But anyway, I don't know who needs to hear this, but clearly someone does. So, because this is another point why I'm doing everything so non-scripted, because I know, so this is recorded now, but it will be posted and seen in the future, right? So whatever drives me to do this knows exactly who's gonna come across it and the reaction that it will provoke, because this is what we are. We are there is a collective conscious, and this collective conscious is an entity in itself, and it's all powerful and across all times. It knows who, what, when, and where. I only know what instinctively I want to say right now. And I let my instinct just guide me as it is, and I'm not really questioning it because it's not mine to question. As I said in a thing that I'm going to upload shortly, even the concept of patenting or copywriting, it shows the short-sightedness of human greed, because whatever you want to patent or copyright, it's not yours in the first place. You received it freely, and the world would be and will be completely different and completely nothing to fight against once you realize that what was given to you freely, you should give freely, and your resources will take care of themselves. Though I don't worry about tomorrow, I don't worry about whatever, because tomorrow is not mine. Yesterday was not mine. Today is not mine. My breath is not mine. Something wants me to be here until it doesn't. So I didn't choose this. I didn't choose to be here. What I'm conscious of, I have no awareness of this deal. And so it's none of my business what's gonna happen tomorrow. So whenever I have a distress or whatever, I just say to the universe, look, you brought me here, you brought me in this system. The system runs how you know it runs. For as long as you provide, and things come easily in a way that brings me joy, we're gonna stick around. When not, I'm gonna check out. Because as I said, I will not invest anything in this system. I find it beneath me, in the most literal sense, beneath me. So for me to sit and fight with some donkey in a black robe that thinks it's blah 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 because they signed a deal with the devil when they went for the bar thing. Oh darling, oh, I wouldn't even piss in their general direction. My piss is worth more than that. So be sovereign in you. Be sovereign in how you think. Be sovereign and self-responsible, and stop doing the right thing only when someone's looking. The right thing not by law, the right thing that feels for you right. You do have an inner guidance. And follow your joy is the only thing I can say. Follow your joy. Do what's joyful. If running after papers and headbutting with paper pushers gives you joy, more power to you. To me, I'd rather watch cartoons on TV or, I don't know, put bling bling on my forehead. So, don't take it too seriously because the concept, like, again, I go to all these people that are saying, oh, we need to get together, we need to build a community, we need to fight them, we need to stand up, we need to la la la, the Nuremberg Code, the blah.